What is up, guys? How are you all doing? I'm doing great, thanks for asking. And welcome to the video. We'll talk about one thing only, and that is Battlefield. That's right, Battlefield 4 finally, Jesus fucking Christ, finally released their patch where they transfer over the CTE stuff to the core vanilla game. And it's been a long time coming. I've played the CTE. I didn't like it that much. I don't think it fixed many of the problems. It in fact added to a few problems and made things worse on some fronts, you know, in some aspects, not all, but obviously the whole point of this patch was to make the game better, and overall I think it did. Don't be tricked, however. Don't let dice pull a wool over your eyes. The game isn't perfect now. I mean, it still does have problems. The more and more I play it, the more and more I see it, and I've encountered them quite a few times, and they still include the 1% health glitch. That's still out there, and sometimes it's 1%, sometimes it's 2%. For the most part, it is a 1% health glitch. You shoot all these bullets into this guy, and then he manages to kill you with half the bullets you fired, and you die, but he has 1% health left, which is BS. But you know, they can't make the game 100% perfect, I suppose. I don't know why, but netcode isn't perfect, but it is drastically better. Let's say that happened every other death, so that now happens once every 5 deaths, which is better, but not great. It's still a problem, but it's not as prevalent. Other glitches and things include people being under the maps, people spawning in and dying before they even see the battlefield. That's a huge problem still. You still do get shot around corners. Again, it happens far fewer times than before, but it's still out there. It still does happen. People, especially on Reddit and on Battlelog and even on YouTube and Twitter everywhere, have been complaining about the latency. Some people got a better experience through the patch, but some people got worse. I don't know how they managed to do that, but there are people out there who feel as though they're running in mud, or they're running with this bungee cord kind of pulling them back, and they're always like half a second or a second behind others. I've come across this complaint a lot, and I mean everywhere, and you can even see it in some videos, in some people's gameplay, in some people's footage. It is out there. It's not a joke. People aren't making it up. It is really out there. I personally haven't experienced it that much. It's happened every now and again, but I'm guessing that's to do with my ping or the server ping or latency in that sense. So for the most part, I'm okay on that aspect, but there are people out there who are experiencing it so bad that it stops them from playing the game. So that's something that needs to be considered, I suppose. Maybe a further patch will be released, or maybe something else needs to be changed in terms of the servers. I don't know, but that is still a bit of a problem. So yeah, like I said, the game isn't perfect, but for me personally, it is 1,000 times better. And finally, the game is about skill. It's not about luck. It's not about latency or ping. It's about the person with the better aim wins that gunfight. That's what I've been looking for. I don't want a skilled shooter or just a pure skill-based shooter like Counter-Strike, you know, CS or CSGO or whatever. I'm not looking for that, because that's not what Battlefield is about. It is a fun game. It's not a realistic game. It's not a simulator. It is a fun shooter with some skill involved. But in the previous version of Battlefield 4, when you shot somebody, it was a 50-50 toss-up. It was just a flip of a coin. You might get the kill, he might get the kill, whatever. It's just random. There was no logic. There was no method to the madness. It was just pure luck. But now, I can just tap fire like I used to, so nothing's changed. My mouse mat, my sensitivity, everything's the same. However, when I shoot people, my bullets connect and I get that kill. Not because I got lucky, but because I am a better player than them. And I don't want to boast or kind of be big-headed, because I hate people like that, especially those people who are arrogant. I've never claimed to be the best player in Battlefield. However, if you do really want to look at skill and you want to compare it, I am above average. I'm not the best, like I said, but let's say the average skill, if you were to give it a number, would be 1.0. And I'm not talking about KD, I'm not talking about win-loss. Those don't count for shit. They only show how a person plays the game, or if they play in a squad, or if they get lucky. That's all that represents. It doesn't represent real skill. I'm talking about actual, true skill. If you want to give it a number and the average is 1.0, I would be a 1.5 or 1.6. So it's not that great of a deal, like difference, but it is above average, and you can actually tell that now. I mean, there are players that are out there that are better than me. There are many players that are better than me out there, for sure. I mean, there's hundreds and hundreds, and you can see the difference between them and I as well. When we get into a gunfight, they kill me. Why? Because they are a better player. But when I encounter a player who is lower than me, I win that gunfight because I'm better than him or her or whatever. So I'm glad that they finally made it into a game where it's not just random. There is actual processes that you need to take, and it's rewarding. I mean, battle packs are still a problem, but the actual gunplay is much better. The guns overall do less damage now, I believe. They each do 1 point less damage than before. They tried to do this to fix the 1% health glitch, or people being shot around corners and dying and stuff. Instead of fixing the netcode, they did something like that, which is very peculiar. To me, it suggests that they can't truly fix the netcode. Obviously, with all the problems that I listed, and with all the problems that people are experiencing, that's just evident, you know. The netcode is not perfect. It never will be perfect. So to combat that, they did something else with the balancing of the guns, and they reduced every gun's damage by 1 point, which is weird, but as long as it works, I don't mind. I just want the game to function. The hit marker symbols now, they work very well. I'm very happy about that, and it shows you very clearly, and it's very satisfying. So it's very nice on that front. The HUD is kind of refined. That's cool. The map can be increased in size. I don't really care for that because I don't really need a bigger map size. The one I use is adequate, so I don't need to change or fiddle around with that. Overall, the game functions very well. I mean, there are still very annoying problems like glitching under the map or glitching through things or spawning in front of an enemy. That's happened to me so many times. It's actually happened more now than before, but I suppose that's more of a spawn logic thing to do with the maps rather than the game itself. The game itself works and it functions very well for me, at least. When I shoot somebody, I get a hit marker and my bullet connects, just like in Battlefield Hardline, just like in any other shooter, and it makes me really happy to see that because it wasn't like that for 9 months straight, which is very frustrating. So the hit registration and the hitboxes again were refined and retuned, and now they function very well. So in terms of the game's functionality and gun mechanics, everything's fine. It's just there are still a few glitches out there and a few problems with the netcode, but like we all know, I guess nothing in life is perfect, and you just gotta take it as it is, and this is probably the best version of the game we're gonna get and there ever will be. I'm glad that it is like this. I'm not looking forward to the new DLC, just on a side note. That's random as hell, just making like a prequel or something for Battlefield 2142, which is ridiculous in my opinion. And the reason I say that is because it doesn't belong in this game. A prequel to Battlefield 2142 in terms of a separate beta or a separate version of Battlefield 4 which is separate from the actual game is fine. You can use the same material, the same engine, everything from Battlefield 4. You can just copy and paste it, just make it a separate entity. Don't put it into the actual game like as a DLC. Just make it a expansion pack, for example, a futuristic expansion pack. Just like how you had a Vietnam expansion pack for Bad Company 2, you could just have a futuristic expansion pack for Battlefield 4 where you keep it separate. But no, they don't want to do that because I don't know what DICE are thinking. Those are the things that I would say in terms of just reviewing the game and its current state. So if somebody was out there thinking about buying the game now, I would suggest that you should. I mean, if you haven't bought the game up to this point and you really want to get the game, or you're still undecided as to whether or not you want to get it and you like shooters, then now is the time to get it, because Battlefield, it's at its peak, which is something you don't hear often and something that shouldn't be said now, because the peak of the game should be within the first 3 months of its release. But with Battlefield and with DICE and with the irregularity of their games and their development, the peak for this game occurred 10 months after its launch, which is a weird phenomenon, a weird concept, something that doesn't happen very often in this industry, and when it does, it's kind of frowned upon because that's not what you paid for. You paid for a good game and you ended up getting a shit game, and it only got better 10 months later, which is unacceptable. But I suppose it's better late than never, maybe. Maybe you need to look at it at a more positive, glass half full kind of way. Finally, I get to play a fully functioning Battlefield game. I haven't said that in a long time. Weirdly enough, this is a side note. I know the commentary is going on for a while, but on a side note, when the patch hit and I played the game and I saw that it was working very well, I got even more angry. When I first played the game, I was pissed because it wasn't working, nothing was functioning, everything was shit. But now I'm playing the game and everything works pretty much, and it's very good and it's very fun. And I'm sitting there thinking to myself, and I'm more angry now than before. Why, you ask? Well, it's because I know DICE are capable of great things. Come on, these are the guys that made Battlefield Bad Company and Battlefield Bad Company 2, especially the Vietnam expansion pack, Battlefield 1942, and Battlefield 3, and Battlefield 2142. These guys made great games, so I know they're capable of doing it. Why didn't they do it for Battlefield 4? Of course, the answer is EA, and they pushed them to release the game before Call of Duty Ghosts, just so that they can get more of the market share. I just wish that they stuck to their guns like they always do. Instead of trying to release the game earlier to try to get more of a market share, they released a high quality product. Not a half finished product, but it's first on the market. It's not about being first, it's about good quality. Quality will always be remembered before quantity or before any sort of number. It's always about quality and the perception of quality. And obviously EA were lacking on that front, and they pushed DICE to release the game earlier than what it was actually supposed to be, which is a problem, but finally they fixed it. I mean, I much rather would have waited 6 months or 8 months and played Battlefield ready, you know, Battlefield 4, the finished, fully functioning game, instead of a broken product. And EA really shot themselves in the foot on that front as well, because they wanted to release the game before Ghosts, in anticipation that Ghost is going to sell loads and it's going to be a good game, and that their game needs to be on the market before that. And as we saw, Ghost turned out to be complete garbage. I mean, the worst Call of Duty ever made. So they really didn't need to have that course of action or that strategy, because Call of Duty killed itself with Ghosts, so they had nothing to worry about. But obviously EA are paranoid and they want more money, and when you add those two concepts together of paranoia and greed, you get Battlefield 4. So yeah, I don't really want to blame DICE too much, because they are just kind of like taking orders from EA. However, they are a little bit to blame. Obviously, they're developers, it's their game technically, so I can understand why. But anyways, as long as it's fixed now, as long as it's functioning for the most part, I'm happy. We're all happy for the most part, in general. Obviously, like I said, there are still problems out there which hopefully will be fixed in the next patch or the next DLC release. There might be a patch that comes with it, maybe, I don't know. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Let me know what you think of the game. Let me know your experiences of the game. Are they different to mine? Are they similar to mine? Or is there something that I completely missed out that you've been experiencing? Let me know in the comment section below. Also, let me know what you think about my points and the video itself. But anyways, that's pretty much it. I want to thank you all for tuning in, and I'll see you guys in the next chapter. This is Night 474, and I'm out. I'll see you on the back.